Greetings, dear ones. My name is Drax16, and thank you for joining me for another video. So, when we go along this journey in life, sometimes some things happen that we don't understand. But you see, God, the God of the Bible, is sovereign over everything that happens. In other words, He knows what's going to happen before it happens. So it's natural, it's not, unusual to wonder why God would allow this, or why would God allow me to be raped? Why would God allow so and so to be raped? Why would God make children? Why would God allow children to get cancer and stuff like this? Which is a valid question. It's not something that we should shy away from. This is something that I think the church needs to be more vocal about because, when someone comes to the kingdom of God, when they get saved, some of them have come from very dark backgrounds. Some of them have had horrible stuff happen to them. And even some people, while they've been Christians, have suffered some horrific things. Maybe they were assaulted, cheated on, lied about, slandered, horrible things. But I read in my Bible somewhere that says that God is going to wipe away every tear from our eyes when we get to the kingdom of heaven. So even though I may not be able to give you an answer for why X or why Y or Z happen, I know that there's a reason behind it. You see, it's like this. When an ant is crawling along the floor and it crawls over a carpet, what does the ant see? Well, the ant just sees just a bunch of mishmash. It's something, the carpet doesn't make any sense. It just looks like a bunch of gibberish. But when I look at the carpet, I can see the embroidery. I can see the design in it. All right? I can see the patterns and I can see that every part of the carpet is beautiful. Everything in there has design behind it. So it is with God. I mean, we are like the ant and God is like the human. So even though the ant doesn't actually see the design in the carpet, we, from our perspective, can. It's like that with bad things that happen as well. Though we may not be able to understand why this or that happens, God sees it differently. He sees everything as building up to our resurrection when we finally see Jesus Christ face to face. So, yeah, from the ant's perspective, it doesn't see any design or anything like that. But when a human looks at the carpet, you can see its beauty. It's the same thing as God when He sees our hardship. Though we may not understand why it happens, He looks at it and He sees it perfectly coincide with His purpose in life. I mean, just look at this. I love to quote this story, but it's one of my favorite stories in the Bible. The story about Joseph, the son of Jacob. He was sold into slavery and was put into prison for a crime that he didn't even commit. He didn't sleep with Pharaoh's wife, Potiphar's wife, but he was thrown into prison as if he did. And I'm sure that Joseph also had doubts too. I mean, he was a human. He was a human being who had all the frailties that you and I might have. So I'm sure that Joseph did had some doubts in when he was just lying there in prison for years, being falsely accused for something he never committed. He probably did have doubts. But you see, God had a plan for it. God could see the pattern on the carpet. And He made Joseph into second in command of the Egyptian empire. And He forgave his brothers. So everything in his life, all of his suffering, was leading up to the point where he finally forgave his brothers and they lived with him in Egypt. So yeah, be at peace with your future. You don't know when something's going to happen to you. I mean, we could die tomorrow, and I hope that's not a prophetic word, but death can happen at any time. So we need to make sure that we get right with God before our death. We should think of this life as if it's a prison. We're in the world, but we're not of the world, as many people say. But yeah, consider that analogy that I used about the ant and the carpet. And so every time you come across something in the Bible where you think, "Oh my goodness, why did God allow this to happen? Why did he flood the entire earth and save only one family? Or why did he destroy the language of every person on earth? Or why did he, I was just reading in Deuteronomy recently, and it says that God was going to, you know, that God was going to punish the Israelites for all their sins. He was going to send worms, locusts, boils, scabs. He's going to have men that go there to rape their wives. And so, I mean, God hates sin. You say, why would God allow that? Guys, remember the carpet. God sees the design in it. And if he says that what this nation needs is punishment, then you're getting it. So God's standards are so much higher. God is so much more pure and so much more holy and so much more righteous than any of us. So yeah, next time you come across something in the Bible that you don't understand why God would allow this or that to happen, just think of the ant and think of the carpet. So it's not a very strong argument to say, well, if I don't know the reason behind this, then there is no reason behind this. No, 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 no. There is a purpose behind it, but we just don't readily know it at this point in time. But there is a purpose behind it. So I can say that with the fullest confidence. Although my heart is breaking for all the children who are suffering in Africa of starvation, I know that there is a purpose behind it. I know that God is sovereign over all people. I mean, are we going to find fault with God for starving children? After all the stuff he's given them, he's given them more than they could ever give back. Now, I'm not saying I enjoy it when someone suffers from starvation or cancer, because I don't, but it's not a strong argument to say, well, if I don't understand the reason, there must be no reason behind it. No, dear ones, be encouraged. Though I don't know the reason why you suffer from X or Y, and by the way, I suffer from mental illnesses. I'm schizophrenic, and I suffer from depression as well. I'm depressed and schizophrenic. And though I don't know why God allowed me to get these mental problems, I know that it's all going to make sense in the end. I know it. I'm convinced of it. I believe it. And so that's what I'm asking you to believe in as well. Though I can't tell you why this or that happened to you, I know that it's all according to God's own plan. All right? All right. So thank you very much for watching. I hope all of you have a wonderful day. God bless you.